Oh, oh my God! That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally Zen 4 time, and what better way to celebrate that than a sponsored video from AORUS featuring all of their great new products that support Zen 4. I hope it's great, it's gonna be great. We're gonna build a computer, which is not necessarily something we always do on ShortCircuit. It's not something I have done on ShortCircuit, so I'm pretty excited. I'm told that there is quite a few pieces in this crate. Oh, look at that. Wow. Oh, it's very sharp. It's just like, wow, they didn't deburr this aluminum at all. All right, well, I'm gonna steal this, I think. I'll put this in my car. Hey, ShortCircuit. Christmas has come early and we bestow upon you the latest in our line of AM5 motherboards. Obviously, the party wouldn't be complete without some friends to play with, so we included those too. Friends? Friends? Oh, there's lots of goodies under there. Let's start with what's on the top though. We've got two AORUS X670 motherboards. We've got their X670E AORUS Master. That's gonna be the eATX big dog flagship board, and the X670 AORUS Elite AX. This is just a standard ATX form factor. Got some RAM in here. This is a 32 gig kit, so 2x16 of 6,000 megatransfers per second DDR5. We've also got an AORUS Gen 4 7000 series SSD. They will be having Gen 5 SSDs coming out soon, which would be perfect for this platform, but unfortunately we weren't able to get that in time. Still, this is gonna be super fast. You know, I'm starting to understand why he drops things so often. It's hard, especially when wonderful people like AORUS send you a box full of so many goodies. How are you not gonna drop at least some of them, right? Ooh. Now this might look like a normal power supply, and for most intents and purposes it is. I mean, it's a modular power supply. You got your connectors for your motherboard, your CPU, but what you've also got is a high power 12 volt connector for new graphics cards, specifically PCIe Gen 5 graphics cards like the upcoming RTX 40 series, as well as the new Radeon graphics that are gonna be coming out presumably in the next couple of months. This connector specifically allows up to 600 watts of power draw, but what's also important is the internals of this power supply are designed to handle much higher power spikes than previous power supplies, which is going to be important on these super high power draw cards. So if you get one of them, you're gonna wanna get an ATX 3.0 power supply like this one. This model specifically is their UD1000GM, and you see that PCIe 5.0 there, that's so you don't screw it up. Use this with Gen 5 graphics cards. It's 80 plus gold, comes with a 10-year warranty, and all of the main capacitors in here are gonna be high quality Japanese capacitors, which is what you wanna look for in a high quality power supply. Ooh, this is our new cable. I haven't actually seen one of these in person yet. Yeah, look at that, 600 watts. And the last thing in our box is an AORUS WaterForce X280 AIO liquid cooler. This thing's got a super sick 330 degree rotatable full color LCD display, so you can show custom text or images on there, probably like the water temperatures if that's what you're into. It's got extra thick tubing along with a slightly thicker radiator, hopefully to improve thermal performance compared to your average AIO. It is gonna have mounting for AM5 hopefully, which is basically the same. Although I have noticed there is no graphics card in here, so we're gonna need to get one. There is some thermal paste at least, we will be needing that, and I'm gonna go find a graphics card, so give me a sec. What better than an AMD RTX 6900 XT? This is the Halo edition. I don't know if it's really gonna like feng shui with our AORUS motherboard, but that's what I have. Look at that gold, baby. Now that we've got everything out of the crate, I guess it's time to pick a motherboard. And between these two motherboards, there's not a huge amount of differences, but there are a few notable ones. This is eATX, this is ATX. The graphics card slot, that's the main 16X slot, is Gen 5 on this board, Gen 4 on this one. This one has two Gen 5 M.2 slots. This one only has one. This one's probably going to cost more. Definitely gonna cost more, but it's more baller, so I think that's the one I'm gonna use. This is still gonna be a great board. It's got 2.5 gig LAN, Wi-Fi 6E, great power delivery, but I usually tend to like the fancy stuff. This one, ooh, PCIe Gen 5 on the graphics slot, nice. It also has 2.5 gig LAN like the other one. It's gonna have the same amount of phases on the power delivery, although it does look like they have a little bit different caps on this one, probably a little bit higher quality components. You're gonna have a little bit more advanced cooling on the VRMs, as well as M.2 thermal guard, which is a big heatsink for the M.2. Wow, they were not kidding when they said this thing had an M.2 heatsink. Look at that. That's gotta be enough to cool a CPU, what the heck? Holy crap, Brandon, look at that. Look at the VRM heatsink. That's straight up just like a graphics card heatsink. They're not even trying to pretend like this is some like pretty thing. They're like, this thing needs cooling. It's just a giant fin stack. Holy crap. I wasn't gonna open this board because we're gonna be using this one, but I just wanted to show this for reference. This is still no joke. That's a big heatsink. But that is something else. Assuming you haven't been living under a rock for the last few months, you'll already know this, but if you have, there is a very big change on the AM5 platform, and that is this socket has pins in it. No longer is an AMD CPU gonna have a bunch of pins on the back, and you're gonna be worried about bending them. Instead, they're in the socket just like their EPYC platform. Interestingly enough, they are using very similar brackets as the AM4 platform. You get like the little plastic hooky boys that your cooler grabs onto rather than having posts that you mount your own thing through. I actually prefer this approach because it comes with an included backplate. So if you're installing an AIO or a CPU cooler of any sort and you're not really experienced, it's a lot easier because the backplate's already there. You don't have to fumble through a big bag. I mean, there's still a big bag, but you don't have to fumble and try to figure out what backplate to use. It's already on there. We just have to take these off. And I have my trusty LTTstore.com screwdriver just for that. I guess that brings us to our RAM. This is a 6,000 megatransfer per second CL40 kit from AORUS. And then M.2. This is AORUS's 7000S Gen 4 SSD. They will be having Gen 5 SSDs launched with this platform, but we weren't able to get one on time, unfortunately. This is an ultra-fast NVMe 1.4 protocol supported drive with read speeds of up to 7 gigabytes a second, which is really, really fast. The Gen 5 SSDs you'll see somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 gigabytes a second, so whew, we got a lot of really fast storage coming our way these days. I love that boards come with this now. The M.2, boom, it's installed. No little screws to mess around with. Just a little cute little latch. Usually I wouldn't be putting a graphics card in while the motherboard's still in the box, but I wanted to show you guys a little feature on a lot of high-end boards like this one. Put your graphics card in and you want to take it out, but it's in the case. You gotta like stick a knife down the back to release the lock. Well, not on this board. You just press this little button, it releases the lock, pull the graphics card out. I wanted to show you guys what easy latch looks like on this board. It's a little bit of a simpler design, just a little bit of an extended latch, but it does still achieve the same thing. It's a lot easier to remove. You're also gonna find that the PCIe slots on this board are reinforced. There's a little metal piece over top that increases the tensile strength by 2.2 times, which means it's gonna be able to support those big honking GPUs with huge heat spreaders, no problem. One of the problems with AM4's backplate, despite me liking the backplate being there, is it wasn't secured to anything. So as soon as you take off those front brackets, it would just be a loose. Well, it looks like on this board, the socket on the front screws into the backplate. So I can pick this thing up, I can shake it around, I can put it in a case, and my backplate isn't gonna fall off, which is frickin' awesome. Despite me hyping up the ATX 3.0 Gen 5 ready 600 watt cable, we're not gonna be using that because we don't have those new GPUs. This GPU just uses 2 8 pins, so that's what we're gonna use. Sweet, I didn't realize, but this cooler has fan and RGB leads actually on the radiator itself, so you don't have to run all the fan cables back behind your computer and loop it back in from this part. It's all where it actually needs to be, which is super sweet. Look at that, we got a complete system now. I guess we can fire it up. One thing to note on the new Zen 4 platform, memory training, which is the process of the CPU and the RAM trying to figure out what speeds it can run at, takes a while. So turning on the system, we were just sitting there for like a minute before it actually started to post. So don't get worried, give it a little bit more time and it'll probably turn on. Hey, we're booted. Shout out to the new Zen 4 CPUs having an iGPU. I think I'm having an issue with this graphics card. I haven't tried to troubleshoot it at all yet, but with the iGPU, we're getting an output. The system works. Ah! As with any new build, and especially one on a new platform, there's a few things you're gonna wanna do before you jump into Windows and just start gaming. First and foremost is updating the BIOS. Now on this board, there's a special USB port you can use to update the BIOS without even needing a CPU, a GPU, anything. You just need to plug in the 24 pin and the CPU power, plug in the USB, and follow the procedure to update the board. Super easy. Once your BIOS is updated, you're gonna wanna go in and enable AMD Expo, which is their version of XMP. That means you're gonna get the full potential speed of your RAM instead of just running at the default speeds. With this specific RAM and board, by default, we're running at 4,800 megatransfers per second when we could be running at 6,000. So just have to click enter to enable Expo, and you can see DDR5 6000 CL40, and then just save and exit. After you do enable Expo, the board's probably gonna memory train again, so don't be scared if it takes, a minute or two to boot after setting this. All right, that actually took like 20 seconds and we're back in the BIOS and we see that sweet 6,000 megatransfers per second. Super fast. Another thing you can do in the BIOS to improve your performance, aside from enabling Expo, is enabling PBO, or Precision Boost Overdrive. It's AMD's built-in feature that allows your CPU to go beyond its stock power limits to get a little bit more performance. So we're gonna turn that on. Now we can play some games. One of the cool features about these boards is the Gigabyte Control Center. Now in here we can go in and tweak things like your CPU frequency. You can go into RGB fusion and change the RGB. I've set it to purple on the motherboard and the RAM to match short circuit colors. You can even go in here and change your fan profile, like I want full speed, or I want quiet. They also have an SSD tool that can give you some metrics about your SSD. We got our Gigabyte one in here. It's telling us we have 100% life rating because it's brand new and we haven't used it. It also comes with an update utility, so you can update all of the drivers, like your chipset drivers, your RGB drivers, all the different drivers that come with your motherboard, so you don't have to go on their website and figure out, oh, which version do I need, this one, that one. It just tells you which one and installs them for you. You just click one button. It's pretty sick. I want to run a Cinebench run. I haven't seen these CPUs. Oh, actually, we don't even know what CPU it is yet. Maybe we should check. It's a 16 core, so it's got to be a 7950X. Wow. Holy sh**. Look at that score, Brandon. That's faster than a 32 core second gen Threadripper by like not an insignificant amount. For reference, the previous flagship, the 5950X, scored a 28,500 score. We're at 35,500. That's a lot faster. These clock speeds are crazy. It's so insane to think that we just got this CPU, put it in a motherboard, and it's just chilling at 5.15 gigahertz. Like no overclock. I mean, we do have PBO on, so it could be going beyond that, but that's just freaking nuts. I got Cinebench running again in a 10-minute stress test just to kind of see where our temps are at. We are looking at about 95 degrees at the hottest, but that's actually not that bad when you consider that PBO is on. The CPU is allowed to go way beyond its stock TDP. You can see we're running anywhere between 200 to 220, 230 watts. Yeah, 230 watts peak. That's a lot of heat, and it's handling it. All right, so we're gaming in Halo Infinite, running 4K ultra settings, and we're getting well over 70 FPS, 75 FPS, depending on where we're at. Now, obviously, your FPS in a game is gonna be a little bit more dependent on the graphics card, but having a good CPU ensures you're making the most of your good graphics card. That's very important. Oh, look at these frags. Let's go. Thanks to AORUS for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to check out their motherboards, we'll have a link down below, especially for their X670 models for the new CPUs. We'll also have all of the rest of the kit we tried out today in the description as well. If you like this video, maybe check out the iPhone 14 unboxing I just did. That was super fun. Hit the like button, get subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one.